Welcome to the United States Coast Guard Academy, the home of the United States Coast Guard's Officer Corps. To the great class of 2026, congratulations, you did it. Today marks the culmination of 200 weeks of relentless hard work, perseverance, sacrifice, and growth. You have pushed through challenges that tested your limits, and you've emerged not just ready, but as exceptional leaders. In a few minutes, you will receive your hard-earned degrees, raise your right hands, take the oath of office, and accept your commissions as ensigns in the United States Coast Guard. You will walk off this campus no longer as cadets, but as officers, leaders prepared to serve. This is truly a momentous day for the Academy, for the Coast Guard, and for our nation. We thank the President for presiding over today's ceremony and for the strong support that he has shown our service. And we are privileged to welcome him back to our 103-acre campus along the Thames River, where we build leaders who will defend our maritime borders, secure our nation's interests, and project American maritime strength, security, and prosperity at sea and around the globe. Thanks to the fiscal year 2025 budget reconciliation, the Coast Guard Academy has received millions in critical funding to strengthen all three pillars of our leadership development program: military, athletics, and academics. This will include monumental renovations to Chase Hall Barracks, a world-class aquatic center, and a new science and technology building. These strategic investments will pay dividends for decades and result in a more capable and more resilient maritime force. And while we evolve and modernize this campus, the core purpose remains unwavering. We are committed to producing officers who are ready to lead with character, ready to adapt to any challenge, and ready to serve. Unlike any other federal service academy, 100% of the Coast Guard's Officer Corps passes through these gates. This institution forges the character, the values, and the future direction of the service. As we approach the Coast Guard Academy's 150th year, and we will welcome the class of 2030 this summer, I can assure you we are committed to excellence, to honor, respect, and devotion to duty, and to producing leaders and warriors who put America first. Like the generations of the long blue line who came before them, the men and women of the class of 2026 stand ready to protect our maritime borders, combat threats to our homeland, and defend our national interests with skill, courage, and unyielding loyalty. I can say with complete confidence, they are ready to serve wherever and whenever our nation calls. To the families and friends of the class of 2026, to the parents who guided, the siblings who stood by, the mentors and role models who offered wisdom and encouragement, today we celebrate not only the graduates' achievements, but the vital role each of you played in making this day possible. Take great pride in what they have accomplished and in the extraordinary service that lies ahead. To our dedicated faculty, staff, and coaches, thank you. You have instilled in these graduates the timeless values of the Coast Guard and have challenged them each to become their very best. Class of 2026, if you could please join me in a round of applause for your family, friends, mentors, and the entire Academy Leadership Development team. It'd be great if we could stand for that. Thank you. So now to the great class of 2026. Over the past 4 years, you earned qualifications. You built lasting relationships. You mentored your divisions. You led on the fields of competition. You brought home championships. You set high standards, and you delivered academic excellence. As first-class cadets, you guided the Corps with maturity and purpose. Today is not the end. It is the proud beginning of your service as commissioned officers in the Coast Guard. Congratulations to each of you. Now, of the graduates before us, 7 international cadets have enriched our Corps while proudly representing their home nations. At this time, we invite these international cadets and their delegations to stand as I call their names. Please hold your applause until all have been recognized. From Guyana, Verlin Gibson. From the Philippines, Arlen Bangsoy, Matthew De La Vega, and Ilissa Flores. From Honduras, Carlos Zavala. From Taiwan, Song Kai-seng. From Vietnam, Nan Ta. Please join me in a heartfelt round of applause. All of the cadets before you will join a Coast Guard operating in complex, dynamic environments at sea, in the air, across cyberspace, and along our borders and around the globe. They possess the training, the resilience, the moral compass, and the warrior spirit to meet every challenge. Class of 2026, trust yourselves. Believe in your shipmates, lead with integrity, and always put your mission and country first. Congratulations. To all of our cadets, you will always have a home here on this campus. We cannot wait to see the great things you will accomplish in all of your years of service ahead. And so as the announcer said you might hear earlier, here we say, go Coast Guard! Go Bears! We'll do that one more time. Go Coast Guard! Go Bears! It is now my privilege to introduce this year's distinguished graduate. The distinguished graduate is the cadet who has achieved the highest military precedence average across academics, military performance, and the physical fitness program over their entire 200-week program. This year's distinguished graduate is Cadet First Class Matthew Lanzalata. First Class Lanzalata is from Virginia Beach, Virginia, and a member of Delta Company. He is a marine and environmental sciences major with concentrations in marine science and geospatial intelligence. His capstone research focused on testing short-range unmanned aerial systems to augment aids to navigation inspections. First Class Lanzalata participated in the Service Academy Exchange Program and attended the United States Air Force Academy during his second-class year. He was the trap and skeet team captain and led the team in competitive shooting events against fellow service academies. He is the son of Paul and Martha Lanzalata and has an older brother, John, and he is proudly engaged to Riley Drew of Virginia Beach, Virginia. Upon graduation, First Class Lanzalata will depart to Pensacola, Florida, and report to basic flight training. And it is my great honor to introduce the distinguished graduate of the United States Coast Guard Academy, Class of 2026, Cadet First Class Lanzalata.
Good morning. Rear Admiral Rothrock, distinguished guests, faculty and staff, family and friends, and of course, the great class of 2026. Our time here at the Academy is strictly defined in terms of length. When we wake up in the morning, what we do during the day, and when we can leave. But how a class navigates from the start to the end is largely on the shoulders of a class. During our fourth class year, we chose our motto to be, "We will find a way or make one," and that is how we navigated our time here. When we walked through the arches of Chase Hall 4 years ago, on that rainy, humid June day, we did not yet have a way. We chose the motto because the words were aspirational, and over the next 4 years, our relentless optimism and our consistent drive enabled us to grow into the class that the motto challenged us to be. We followed the paths set before us and made new ones for those who will come after us. Some paths are well worn. The classes before us have endured and overcome challenges of their own, and we've heard all about those challenges from those classes, especially some of the older classes, and they've told us how they're the last real class because of the challenges they've endured and the things they've done. And we too are the last real class because the last we shared together and the challenges we overcame. But we also experienced many firsts as a class that made us distinct. This year, our women's rugby team led the programs to the first collegiate national title. Our class was the first to implement a phased approach to summer training and the first to graduate ensigns with minors in emergency management. We pioneered new career pipelines into physician assistant school, into deployable special forces directly from the Academy, first to ever do it. We found ways through challenges that tested our resolve but never did it alone. Our faculty and staff have shown up for us every day with professionalism, patience, and care. And they have taught us, coached us, mentored us, and kept us moving forward every single day. That commitment has left an impression on our class, and it deserves our gratitude. So I'd like to take a moment, if the class would like to turn around, look behind you. Behind you sit faculty and staff, family and friends, loved ones, who have poured into you, supported you on your hard days, and celebrated you on your good ones. And our class found a way because you supported us every step of the path to this stage. Thank you. Our time here is made up of many moments. Some feel big and extraordinary, and some feel much smaller and very ordinary. And we face those moments with hopefulness and a drive to overcome the challenges around them. The big moments we will always remember: our last push-up on the parade field after swab summer, receiving our class rings at ring dance, school dances, billet night, where we cheered so loud it was difficult to hear Captain Ensley announce the next billet. Those moments were moments of momentum. And as I learned in physics class, once an object is in motion, it's difficult to stop. In our class, the class of 2026, is difficult to stop. There were also many smaller moments that carried us here. Staying in the wardroom long after food was served to spend time with friends, spontaneous conversations at the OD desk, running into cadets in public on the golf course, and late-night C-store runs for energy drinks and snacks to attack long procrastinated work. And those moments and the attitude we brought to each next assignment, each next day, and each next semester is how we made our way to where we stand today. Soon, we will all report to units where we will have much to learn. The ensign bars we are anxious to put on our shoulders are not ones of experience, but ones of heavy responsibility. However, the attributes that carried us forward these last 4 years will matter much more than pretending we have all the answers. If we enter our new jobs with humility, relentless drive, and consistent optimism, We will continue to blaze new paths forward. When a cutter's bridge is exhausted, a watch floor is overwhelmed with calls, or the weather takes a turn for the worse, the class of 2026 will be ready. We will find a way or make one. Thank you.
Please rise for the arrival of the official party and the rendering of honors. Platform party covers. Now, Coast Guard arriving. Now, Homeland Security arriving. Ladies and gentlemen, the 45th and 47th President of the United States of America arriving. Covered military personnel, hand salute. Thanks. Ready, two. Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. Please rise for honors with a 21-gun salute and ruffles and flourishes. Hand salute. Ready, two. Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. It is now my privilege to introduce the Commandant of the Coast Guard, Admiral Kevin E. Lunday.
Good morning. Linda Lee and I are honored to be here today. President Trump, thank you for coming back today to charge these new officers as they head out to our operating forces. Thank you for your visionary leadership to renew the Coast Guard, starting with last year's record capital investment, sir, to buy new cutters, boats, aircraft, facilities, and technology. Sir, we've already spent $13 billion of that to meet your intent, and we're on track to spend nearly all of it by the end of this year. Thank you for your strong 27 annual budget that, when funded by Congress before October, will grow our service by nearly 6,000 people to operate those new assets. And thank you for your resolute advocacy for not just the Coast Guard, but all of our armed forces, sir. Secretary Mullen, thank you. Secretary Mullen, thank you for your leadership and support of our Coast Guard men and women and their families. And under the President's direction, for fighting to successfully fund the Coast Guard and the rest of DHS and ensure that what happened this year never happens again. We will not forget what you did, sir. To the superintendent, faculty, and staff, thank you for forging these men and women into leaders of character who are ready for the call. To the parents, families, and friends, you laid the firm foundation of character and values for these graduates. Their success reflects your enduring love and support. Thank you. To the class of 2026, congratulations. 4 years ago, you arrived as individuals, Americans drawn from across our great United States, including our U.S. territories in Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, Guam, Northern Mariana Islands, and American Samoa. You were joined here by international students from allied and partner nations. Today, as you march out, you do so as a unified team, forged in the crucible and bound together by a shared calling to serve with honor, respect, and devotion to duty. You will serve at a time of historic consequence. The maritime domain is more complex, contested, and more vital to American security and prosperity than ever before. And today, the Coast Guard is in greater demand, and we are delivering proven value and results to the American people. We save lives. We secure and defend our homeland and its maritime approaches, from the borders of the mainland U.S. throughout the Caribbean and the Western Hemisphere, to Alaska and the Arctic, to Hawaii and the 3 territories in the Pacific and in cyberspace. We facilitate commerce through our ports, waterways, and shipping, vital to America's economic prosperity and to rebuilding the nation's maritime might. And we respond to crisis. At the same time, our service is implementing the President's vision to renew the Coast Guard through force design, a generational transformation that's building a new fleet of assets and bringing in the additional men and women who will operate them. Our people are our greatest treasure. And as we build the most advanced ships in the world, they are nothing without their crews and the leaders of character to command them. You are those leaders. You'll soon report to your first units to lead across our operating forces aboard cutters, at sectors, in deployable specialized forces teams, and at Coast Guard Cyber Command. First, though, you will take the oath to support and defend the Constitution that accompanies your military commission. The commission is more than words. It is a direct grant of constitutional authority from our President and Commander-in-Chief to you, and it represents a sacred trust with the American people. As commissioned officers in the profession of arms, you must lead as if your lives depend on it. For certain, the lives of the men and women you lead, their lives will depend on it, and the lives of the American people we serve will depend on it. The Academy has prepared generations of officers, and you have spent 4 years preparing for this moment, and I know you are ready. I am incredibly proud to serve as your commandant. Looking to the horizon, I have certain hope for the future. For there's one thing our distinguished service history proves. With a ready Coast Guard crew and the strong support of the American people, there is nothing we can't accomplish. Semper Paratus. I'm now honored to introduce a distinguished leader who knows what it takes to secure our United States and enable our Coast Guard and the Department to deliver mission success. A fighter who's always in our corner, leading from the front, our Secretary of Homeland Security, Mark Wayne Mullen.
Thank you, Admiral Lundy, and thank you, Mr. President, for allowing me such an honor to serve in your cabinet at such a historic time. As Secretary of Homeland, it's a very humbling position I find myself in, and I play no games about who is my favorite out of the 22 components. I understand the Coast Guard, you're our first line of defense to protecting the homeland. And our President, our Commander-in-Chief, he believes in peace through strength. But he also understands that not everybody believes in peace, and some people only respect strength. And because of the great men and women who sit in front of me today, you give our Commander-in-Chief the options. Because you're the 1%ers. You're the 1% that will stand up and you defend our freedoms, you defend our Constitution, you defend our homeland, you defend our nation. And our Commander-in-Chief loves you for that. As the 1%ers, the President has made it his obligation, plus his mission, to fund our military in the way that no other president has done. He's invested millions, in the tunes of $25 billion, actually, to fund the Coast Guard, to bring the Coast Guard back to mission capable, to not just to fit today's missions, but to focus on tomorrow's missions as well. As I stated before, you're the front line protecting our shores. You protect our inland waterways. You're the law enforcement of the water. And our president realizes that. Your commander-in-chief, this isn't his first time to come and speak at this podium. In fact, this is his second time to come speak at this podium. And I'm going to go off my notes a little bit and just talk about the ride over here. He had your Commandant, Lundy, in the Flying Mobile Office, or the Oval Office. And he was bragging about everything from your uniforms to how you guys learn how to swim, to your missions capability, and to the fact that you guys are involved in every mission. And when we're taking down the narco boats to the illegal flag vessels, you guys are involved in it. And it comes with a great sense of pride for me, because I get to call our commander-in-chief also my friend. And for me to stand in front of you today and be able to introduce him to the one percenters, I take that as one of the greatest honors of my life. So without anybody waiting on me, because I'm never going to get in the way of this guy, let me introduce your commander-in-chief, our 45th and 47th President of the United States, Mr. President Donald J. Trump.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That was beautiful. He's a fantastic man. He's a special, very special man. He always has been. And Mark Wayne, thank you. Appreciate it. And hello, cadets. And let me begin by saying a very big congratulations to the class of 2026, special class. It's a true honor to be here on this magnificent day at one of the most prestigious military academies anywhere in the world, and I'm thrilled to become the first president to ever give a second keynote address to this storied institution. I am very proud of that honor. We'll have to try it a third time. We're going to have to try it maybe a third time, too, to keep that record intact. And a few moments from now, every graduate in the field will go forth with a even greater honor, one of the highest distinctions anyone can attain. You'll become commissioned officers in the United States Coast Guard, and our country is hot. This is a great time. Our country is hot. I hate to say it, but I will. A year ago, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, the last administration, we were a dead country. Right now, we're the hottest country anywhere in the world. We're respected all over the world. You saw that with China just recently. You saw that in Venezuela. You saw that right now in Iran. Everything's gone. Their Navy's gone. Their Air Force is gone. Just about everything. The only question is, do we go and finish it up, or are they going to be signing a document? Let's see what happens. But we're a hot country. We're the hottest country anywhere in the world, with the strongest, most powerful military anywhere in the world, and there's nobody close. I want to thank our new Secretary of Homeland Security, Mark Wayne Mullen, a fantastic man, for the introduction, along with Coast Guard Commandant Admiral Kevin Lundy. And he is something. He's a special guy. You know, when you get to that position in the Coast Guard, you're very something. I don't have to ask, gee, how good is he? They have to be very good. It goes with the territory. And the President of the Republic of Palau, Surin Gel Whips, Jr., I want to thank you very much. And you're here, and we appreciate your being here. Thank you very much. Over the past 4 years, this class has been mentioned by an exceptional team of professors and coaches and military professionals who have shaped you into leaders. You came with very good quality, but they've shaped you nevertheless. And warriors who revere honor and really honor duty. You honor duty like very few others can even think about it. So let's give a big round of applause to the entire faculty and staff that made this possible. And I especially want to thank Academy Superintendent Rear Admiral Greg Rothrock. Come on, get up here, Greg. Come here, come here. He does a hell of a job. You don't want to mess with him. Don't mess around with him. Thank you very much, Greg. Fantastic. Also, your Assistant Superintendent, Captain Jess Razioks. Where is he? Where? Oh, nice. Very nice. Thank you. Commandant of Cadets, Captain Aaron Casavant. Hi, Aaron. Hi, Aaron. Command Master Chief Evan Birch. Evan, where are you, Evan? Good job up here, Evan. It's never easy, Evan, up here, right? You feel more comfortable in the water. And class advisor Christy Rose. Christy. Thank you, Christy. And of course, where would you be without the wonderful friends and family in the stands? And there are a lot of them here who loved and supported you, and they were with you every single step of the way, and they do love you. They do love you. Sometimes they're not forthcoming with that statement. They're up there. Half of them are crying. Look, their boy, their girl, right? Their boy or their girl. They call him girl, by the way, and they call him boy. And in 30 years, they'll be calling you boy and girl, too. They love you. Your parents and your family, please. To all of the moms and dads, grandparents, and family members here on this joyous occasion, thank you for everything you've done to raise such amazing American patriots. We really appreciate it. What a group. And today is all about the incredible class of 2026 that you've achieved and all of the things that you've achieved and the exciting future that awaits. You have an amazing future. Very soon you'll swap your shoulder boards and you'll join the long blue line of legendary rescuers, seafarers, and service members that fill American hearts with admiration and pride. I've watched it. I've watched you during those hurricanes in Texas, and you got out there and you were going through waves that nobody else would have done. I wouldn't have done it. I would have said, Captain, I'm not feeling too good today. I think I have to take a day off. But you would have none of it. You are really something. I watched it. You saved so many lives. During my first term, we had one of the worst hurricanes ever in Texas and the Gulf. And the bravery that you displayed was incredible. You saved thousands. I think the number was 16,000, 17,000 lives you saved. Through every generation, the heroes of the United States Coast Guard have lived by a creed of honor and bravery and sacrifice that have defied every storm, shipwreck, and every single enemy attack. In the hour of need, our Coast Guardsmen have brought hope to the hopeless and swept the innocent from the jaws of a raging sea, seas like nobody's ever seen before in some cases. Coast Guard warriors piloted the famous Higgins boats and delivered American liberation to beaches of Normandy and sailed through smoke and flame and gunfire to put the Marines and the Guadalcanal very much into play, and they patrolled the distant shores of Manila Bay and Mekong Delta and the Red Sea, and they patrolled them like nobody has ever been able to patrol them before or since. For decades, the men and women of this noble service have repeated an unofficial motto of pure, unyielding courage. It says, you have to go out, but you don't have to come back. That's a statement. You have to go, I think of that, you have to go out, but you don't have to go back. And you know what that means? That means danger, and it's a statement that you live by. This is the unbelievable heroism and exceptional selflessness that lives in the soul of every single cadet on this field, every single one of you. And you've all been tested. You'll be tested further and probably at higher levels as your career goes on, but you've been very strongly tested, and you have what it takes. You're America's first defenders. You are America's first responders. You are the living standard bearers of America's first fleet. As your commander-in-chief, I could not be prouder of the great class of 2026. Congratulations. Congratulations. Amazing. And I'd have no doubt to say, and just like those Coast Guard legends who came before you, you will always put America first. We put America first now. We haven't done that for a long time, but we do that under the Trump administration, I will tell you. And the whole world is saying, well, America's first, and they put America first. And we help others too, but we put America first. 4 years ago, most of the cadets here today could have gone to almost any school that you wanted. It's so hard to get into the Coast Guard. I had so many people, sir, could you get my son? He wants to go to the Coast Guard Academy. And I look at the son, I say, he's not going to make it. Terrible. I lost a lot of friends. I lost a lot of friends. But every once in a while, I'll call up with somebody outstanding, and they'll generally take care. If they don't take care, they're fired. So, you know, they have no choice. But you really have outstanding people coming in. But you chose New London. You chose Cape May. You chose Kodiak Island. You chose the great service of God and country in the U.S. Coast Guard. And it was the best decision of your lives. One of the great decisions. You will say it. It's hard to say it now, but you will say it as time goes by. This will be the best decision of your life, where you decided to learn, go to school in this incredible, beautiful place. You came as strangers and American teenagers. You leave as officers, American warriors, and friends forever. You're always going to be friends with each other, hopefully with me. Today, this field is full of some of the smartest minds, the toughest athletes, and the most tenacious leaders our nation has to offer. It really is. It is very hard to get into this particular place. It is very, very hard. It is a lot of broken hearts. People don't do it. Good people, smart people, they can't quite make it. Many of you have excelled academically, but 49 cadets have studied longer and harder than anyone else. The very accomplished Coast Guard Academy scholars. Would you please stand? These are the really brilliant people. You're all brilliant, but these are perhaps slightly more brilliant. Don't feel guilty. Don't feel guilty. Never feel guilty about success, right? But I think it's great. And at the top of your class with the highest score in both military and academic achievements is distinguished graduate Matthew Lanzillotta. Where is he? Where is he? Come here. Get up here. Come on. Come on, get up. Get up here. I want to see this guy. I hate good-looking men. Very good. Matthew, that's great. Thank you very much. It's a great honor. We also have the only cadet who earned a perfect score on every single fitness test. Now we're talking fitness. Do you know who this is already? Wow, this guy must be something. I think we'll have to invite him up. I want to check it out. For the last 4 straight years, which they think may be an all-time record, congratulations to Thomas Rhodes. Thomas, get up here, please. I want to see. I want to check him out. Whoa. Wow. Oh, we're not going to fight with him. I'm not fighting him. I'm not. This is not UFC. Please understand that, Thomas. Look at this guy. Look at the muscles on this guy. Just hit him on the shoulder. I hurt my hand. It's like hitting a rock. That's great. Thomas, that's fantastic. Another member of this class is making history as well today. Mike Kaddish becomes the first Coast Guard Academy graduate to ever go straight from the Corps of Cadets into the Coast Guard Special Forces. So what was that all about? Come on up here. Come on. Let's go. Come on up here, Mike. I want to see what these guys... I like to see, what these guys are like. Because, it's competition for me, too. I have to compete with you now. I'm not liking that. How are you? Fantastic. Wow, that's a big achievement. These are special people. Thank you very much, Michael. For the past 4 years, you've been led by your brilliant class president, Savannah Riera. Where is she? Hey, Savannah. Where are you, Savannah? Where are you, Savannah? Where's Savannah?
To your left, sir.
Savannah, come on up here. I have to. If I didn't invite her up, they'd accuse me of discrimination. That would not be. I'd be, ladies and gentlemen, the president got sued today. Savannah, come on up. I have to get her up here, and she looks so fantastic. This is ridiculous. Nothing like having a little fun. Do you agree? This is your big day. We got to get Savannah up here. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Savannah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Savannah. Well, this class has also been blessed with many tremendous athletes, including the Academy's all-time leader in receptions, yards, and touchdowns, wide receiver, Brooke Desta. Where's Brooke? Wow. That's a pretty good record, Brooke. I'll let you come up if you want. You want to come up? Come on up here, Brooke. Come on. You can see they want you up here, Brooke. So do we have a little NFL future here, maybe? I don't know. Usually that can happen when you're leading by that much. That's a lot of achievement. Thank you. We've made it possible. I did this. We made it possible for people like Brooke that really have a great ability at sport, and in some cases will be drafted by the NFL or have a chance of getting into the NFL or baseball or basketball or whatever it might be. The problem is they had to serve, as you know. They had to serve 5 years, and that's not exactly conducive to being drafted very high if you had to go away. So I made a decision in my first term, and we adhere to it very strongly, that when somebody has the ability to go into Coast Guard or West Point, Annapolis, Air Force, any of them, if you have a student with extreme ability that gets drafted and can play in professional football, we allow you to go immediately, and you serve your time in the Coast Guard or whatever after your professional career is over. And it has made such a difference. It's also made a big difference in recruiting. That's why your teams are better today than they used to be. So I make these little contributions. I don't know if people know I made those contributions, but so Brooke, I want 25% of everything you earn. Thank you, Brooke. I appreciate it. So it's a little bit of a help, but it actually what we didn't expect, it made your recruiting much better because you're able to now recruit the top people that really have a chance of getting into professional sports, and one of the reasons you have such good teams. We also have your all-time leader in points in the assist for women lacrosse, Abby McAllister. Abby, where are you, Abby? Stand up, Abby. Oh, are you that good, Abby? Do you want to come up, Abby? Come on, Abby. Come on up, Abby. See, we throw them a little off on timing when I do this, but what the hell? We have time, right? This is your day. And when somebody achieves with these people, we should give them a little extra recognition, right? That's a tough sport, Abby. I don't know. I'm not going to mess with you. That's great. That's a big record. Thank you, Abby. Of course, there are those of you who have made your mark on the school in many other ways, like the mayor of the class, Freddie Wheaton, the founder of Phi Kappa Granny, Evan Grenahan, and the leader of the esports club, Aiden Roskowski. They've done a great job. That's good. That's also called leadership. While everyone has worked and studied hard, some may have spent a little bit too much time at a place called Mr. G's. I don't know what Mr. G's is. I don't know what it is, but I don't like the sound of this. I'm not. Where am I going with this one? But we want you all to have a clean slate as you begin your careers. So, therefore, Mr. Superintendent, I hereby absolve all cadets who are on restriction for minor conduct infractions and even somewhat major infractions, effective immediately. Okay? You guys, you got away with murder. I was just in a good mood. I was in a very good mood to do that. Every branch of our armed forces protects American lives, but the Coast Guard is the only service explicitly dedicated to saving them. You're saving lives. You never leave an American behind, and you never would. In the past year, our Coast Guard heroes have saved over 5,200 lives at least and helped carry out and carry over 19,000 people to safety. Amazing. One of the special cadets in this class has already saved his first life during his first-class summer, providing life-saving care to the person in distress off the coast of Alaska. Job well done. That's Mason White. Mason, thank you. Stand up, please. Thank you. Thank you, Mason. Great job. That was early on, right? And that was a great job. Thank you very much. When you leave here today, every cadet on the field will be stepping into a critical role in the defense of our country to protect our maritime infrastructure. 12 of you will be going to Coast Guard Cyber Command. That's a big deal. 20 are heading to Coast Guard Flight School. 23 will join Prevention and Response, and a whopping 181 cadets will become afloat officers in a fleet, because, as you like to say, underway is the only way, and that's a pretty cool statement. And, you know, I don't know if you know this, but I was telling your leaders before that we have 11, you know, we're way down on icebreakers, and we've ordered 11. We're working with Finland. They make icebreakers. They make the best icebreakers. We're going to learn everything we can learn. We're going to shortly make them ourselves. But we're making, right now, currently under construction, we have 11 beautiful. And I said, come on, when's the first one coming? They said, in 28. I said, I'm going to be here in 28. Maybe I'll be here in 32, too. I don't know. Maybe I will. But I'm going to be here in 28. And I'll tell you, I said, that's great, because I'm going to be there at the dedication. They have been trying to get icebreakers for years and years, and no president was able to provide them with what you need. to get it done. And I want to thank the country of Finland because they are known to make the best icebreakers. And I thought going there for starters, you know, we tried making one, but it was too front heavy. It wouldn't have worked because an icebreaker has to come crashing down. And when the front weighs 4 times more than the back, bad things happen. So I realized we didn't know what the hell we were doing. I went to Finland and was with the president of Finland, and we worked out a deal. And we're making 11 total. Some of them are going to be made right here. We're going to learn the craft, and we're going to have so many icebreakers. You know, Russia has 48, and we have one very old one. It's ridiculous. And we have the whole Arctic. We have the whole region. And we're going to have a whole big fleet very shortly, and they're starting to come in a very quick fashion. After that, we're going to go way up higher. We'll have at least 55 within a short period of time, so that'll be great. And you're going to be operating them and running them, and it's probably another category. The class of 2026 is graduating at an incredible, exciting time for our nation and the Coast Guard in particular. As you enter the office corps of the greatest military in the history of the world, our national strength is back. Our morale is back. We are a confident country again. We have confidence is back. And above all, America is back, bigger and better and stronger than ever before. We have a strong, great, respected country again. We went off course. We went very sadly off course. For years, Washington, D.C. was run by foolish politicians who thought they could defy the laws of world history, violating every common sense principle, for preserving national power and national security. And they surrendered our industrial capacity to other countries, crippled our energy production, threw open our borders. We had borders with they were open borders, they called them. People came in totally unchecked and unvetted. You know how many people over 4 years in the last term? 25 million people. They came in as murderers. They were coming in from other countries. They came in from prisons. They were drug dealers. They came in from mental institutions and insane asylums. They allowed them to just flow into our country. We're getting them out. We've got a lot of them out. 11,888 murderers. Think of that. 50%, or more than 50%, committed more than one murder. They were allowed in our country. We can never forget the sins of what they did to our country. But we're getting them out. In fact, we've gotten them to the extent that we just had the best crime numbers in history. The best crime numbers, meaning the lowest crime numbers in history, were just last month released. Lowest number of murders since the year 1900, 125 years. So what they did to us is terrible, but we're getting it back into shape really properly. And now we went from the worst border in history to the strongest border we've ever had. In 11 months, not one illegal alien was able to get into our country. When you think of that, that's pretty amazing. And they can come in, but they have to come in legally. They have to come in through a process. They have to love our country. They have to show us that they can love our country, not that they want to blow up our country. I think that everybody agrees with that. Under this administration, we don't apologize for American power or wealth. What we do really is we want to maximize it. We take advantage of it. We unleash it. And we wield it to pursue our country's glorious destiny and our beautiful American dream. We have the American dream back. You didn't hear about the American dream too much for 4 years, and now the American dream is back. This is truly the golden age of America. We are in now the golden age. We have more production, more people. We have more people working today than at any time in the history of our country by far. We have more people having great jobs today than at any time in the history of our country. Our country is respected all over the world. The men and women of the Coast Guard have a vital role to play in this resurgence. This is a great resurgence. We have $18 trillion being invested in the United States. That's many, many times more than ever before. In fact, you'd have to go back more than 10 years. Another country a long time ago had $3 trillion. We have $18 trillion. The last administration for 4 years had less than $1 trillion. We have $18 trillion being invested in our country in 11 months because the numbers for the 12th have not come up, so that's going to increase it yet further. So that's an honor. It's a great honor. To me, that's something special. We're building plants, auto plants, every kind of plant you can imagine all over the country. And they're coming in from Canada. They're leaving other countries. They stole our auto business. They stole our chip business. We'll have close to 50% of the chip business by the time I leave. And right now we have none, practically. And we'll have, it was taken by other places. It was taken by Taiwan. I'm not knocking them. I'm saying if they can get away with it. But if you had the right president, that would have never happened. It wouldn't have been allowed to have happened. You would have put tariffs on, and you say, that's okay, you can steal our business, but if you're going to sell, if you think you're selling those chips back into us with no tax, you can forget it. And if we did that, we wouldn't have lost those businesses, the autos, the chips, the semiconductors. All of that would be here, but it's all pouring back into our country right now because of the word tariff. As you know, one of my favorite words, I got into big trouble. I said, this is my favorite word in the dictionary, my favorite word, the word tariff. And the fake news, look at all of them back there. They said, what about God? What about wife, family? What about other things like Bible? So I was in deep trouble because I said tariff is my favorite. So I made it number 5, and now I'm okay. Now I'm okay. They think I'm kidding, but they gave me a hard time. But with your help, we're reasserting one of the most time-honored principles of our national security, that the American dominance in Western Hemisphere will not be threatened under any circumstance. As an example, we will not let Iran have a nuclear weapon. That's all. It's very simple. We will not let that happen. And we have great support. You wouldn't know that by reading the fake news, but we have great support. People don't want them to have a nuclear weapon, and they will not have a nuclear weapon, and they want to make a deal so badly. We'll see what happens, but we hit them very hard, but we may have to hit them even harder, but maybe not. But we're not going to let Iran have a nuclear weapon and blow up the entire Middle East, Israel, the entire Middle East, and then come here for you. Not going to happen. So just as no family can be truly secure in a violent neighborhood, we will not allow chaos, instability, or danger to fester in America's own backyard. We're not going to let it happen. One of the reasons we have Mark Wayne, and one of the reasons that I feel so good about things, he's a tough cookie. You know, he was a great fighter, too. A great fighter. He was a tough cookie and a very successful fighter. His sons are all-American fighters, so they have good genetics in that family. But Mark Wayne is a tough guy with I always say he's a tough guy with a great heart, and that's a good combination. So from the Gulf of America to the frozen waters of the Arctic, from the shores of Havana to the banks of the Panama Canal, we will drive out the forces of lawlessness and crime and foreign encroachment, just like we've been doing. You know, we have only 3% coming in. We were getting tremendous, you would understand this because you were involved in this, we're having tremendous amounts of drugs brought in by sea, by ocean, by water. And a tremendous amount. And we've now reduced that to 3%. So it was a big percentage, and now it's all the way down to 3%. And we've hit them very hard, as you know. Not that it's something we wanted to do. And we never miss. We hit them very hard. And actually, people are trying to figure out who are the 3% because they happen to be the bravest people perhaps anywhere in the world. The 3% that's left, but I don't even think they have 3%. We virtually stopped it. And now we're going to stop the drugs coming in by land, and that's the easy one to do. That's the easy one. I want to thank the Coast Guard because you've been unbelievable in that endeavor. Think of it. We had a majority of drugs were coming in by the sea, by the ocean, and we have virtually stopped that. And now for the easy part, the land, much easier, and it will be equally quick. And we are going to have drugs are down by 61%, but we want to get them down to almost nothing because they've destroyed so many families, so many people, so many lives. Our Coast Guard cutters are elite tactical teams where the pivotal is enforcing our successful blockade. And you just have to see this. We have a blockade that's, they call it the wall of steel. Nobody goes through them. And you're a big part of it. Nobody goes through. The Navy, the Coast Guard, we have ships that tried to go through, and they're saying young captains from Coast Guard Academy, the Naval Academy, Annapolis, and they're saying, do not proceed further. They have the greatest loudspeaker system, much better than this one, let me tell you. It goes over the water, it bounces on the water, and you have this young, handsome captain saying, do not proceed further. You are in enemy territory. Do not proceed further or we will shoot. And you have a ship that's like 2 football fields long that carries 2 million barrels of oil. Think of that, 2 million barrels. And on occasion, they'll try and disobey. And last week you saw one shot, not a missile shot, a bullet, a very large bullet. A bullet from 4 miles hit the rudder of the ship, and the rudder of the ship fell into the ocean. It was a beautiful thing to see. It just fell in. I said, what the hell kind of a shot was that? And the man said, no, no, we are going back to Iran. See, now I say Iran. I don't use because he obviously has a correct pronunciation. We will go back to Iran. And it took, with a broken rudder, with the rudder that was laying at the bottom of the sea, it took 10 miles just to turn that ship back. But nobody violates it, nobody. And I was with, as you know, President Xi of China 2 days ago. We had a tremendous meeting, very successful meeting. And he agrees our military is phenomenal. I don't want to go beyond that, but I will tell you he respects our military tremendously. Our military is respected. We have, as I said, the greatest military anywhere in the world, and we're going to keep it that way. We have a budget this year of $1.5 trillion. That's the biggest budget we've ever had. That includes the Coast Guard. Don't worry about it. Look, they're getting a little bit concerned. Don't worry, it includes you. You're going to have so many Coast Guard cutters, you're not going to know what to do with them. You'll have a cutter that's 2 years old. You say, Captain, I want the new one. Didn't used to be that way. But we have a lot of money coming your way, you know that. Because of these people and people like them. They made a great case for it, and I'm a big fan. So, you know, we take care of it while I'm here, because we're going to take care of the Coast Guard like you wouldn't believe. And in a flawless, thank you. And in a flawless operation last January, supported by the Coast Guard, America's armed forces captured the outlaw Nicolas Maduro and brought him back to American justice. He's awaiting trial from Venezuela, an attack that took less than 1 day. And it was an amazing, I think it's one that's going to be studied for a long time. Great, smart country, very tough military country, but it really took 48 minutes and 13 seconds to be exact, but let's give it 1 day. And he's now awaiting trial. And now we have a great joint venture with Venezuela. We have millions of barrels of oil coming into Houston and coming into parts of Texas and Louisiana and Alaska. And it's been an amazing thing. You know, Venezuela used to be a really great country 20 years ago. Then it went the wrong way. It went the way they'd like to take this country. Some lunatics would like to take this country way, way left and destroy it. But we're not going to let that happen. We're not letting that happen. This service has also been at really the center of the battle to restore sovereign borders for the United States and keep drugs and criminals out of our country, and we're keeping them out. Since I took office, the Coast Guard has seized over 206 million lethal doses of illicit narcotics, the most in the history of our country, enough to kill a country, a large country, many, many times over. And you've seized it, and you seize it constantly, and you don't play games. Last August, the Coast Guard cutter Hamilton interdicted 76,000 pounds of illegal drugs, the largest Coast Guard drug bust of all time, largest ever. And I'm telling you, the Coast Guard has always been good, but you've stepped it up even beyond that. 5 cadets graduating today were part of that historic action. And I'll mention their name. Elliot Coles. Stand up, Elliot. Jenna Lewandowski. Piper Stevens. Hannah Warner-Kay. And J.J. Banek-Gebel. Thank you. Great job. Thank you very much. The Coast Guard has also played an important role in Operation Epic Fury to ensure that the Iranian regime never obtains a nuclear weapon. Just 2 months ago, off the Coast Guard at Malaysia, a highly trained U.S. Coast Guard tactical team helped seize a sanctioned Iranian oil tanker that had been used to transport over 1 million barrels of oil from Karg Island into the coffers of Iran. We don't want that to happen. This is the third sanctioned Iranian vessel the Coast Guard has helped capture since we began the fighting, the real fighting, with Iran, and many more to come, I suspect, unless they get smart. Everywhere you go, you say, never forget. You represent the most righteous, successful, and exceptional nation in all of history, and you were really put in a position where you wear the uniform, the most powerful military ever to sail the seas. You are right now at the pinnacle of this nation. You are at the pinnacle. 4 years ago, 3 years ago, I couldn't have said that. I wouldn't have been up here, but I couldn't have said that. You were not at the pinnacle at all. Right now, you're at the pinnacle of the Coast Guard, at the pinnacle of the military, and that military includes the Coast Guard will soon be stronger and more powerful than ever before with all of the things we've done. Last year, I signed a record-setting $25 billion investment in the Coast Guard, including funding for 22 new cutters, 40 new search and rescue helicopters, 25 state-of-the-art icebreakers, and we're also providing $380 million for renovations and improvements right here at the Academy. The Academy is going to be so beautiful. It's already beautiful, frankly, but it's going to be tippy-top, as I say. It's going to be perfect. Under our leadership, this service is seeing more action than at any time in many decades. I would say at any time, period, you've never seen what is happening. And the Coast Guard, as good as it has been, has never seen what's happening to it right now. And the spirit has never been higher. And I think we can say that. It starts with the leadership. But I think the spirit with the Coast Guard has never been higher than it's been right now. And I got to know a couple of people over the last 2 weeks from the Coast Guard, and I can see why. These are incredibly brilliant people, good people. I have to say, I don't want to give them any ideas, but in the private sector, they'd be making a lot of money. And you know what? They wouldn't trade what they're doing. Would you guys trade for millions a year? Maybe. Maybe. No, you wouldn't. I don't think you would. A lot of people would like to be in your position that are doing very well, believe me. In the 4 years before I took office, the Coast Guard recruitment missed targets by 20 and 25 and 30%, the targets, the recruitment targets. And not only you, the Marines, the Army, Navy, Air Force, Space Force, that's my baby. I started Space Force. I was very happy. It's going to turn out to be one of the most important of all. But you miss your recruitment numbers, and it was an embarrassing time. Not only the military, the police, firemen, anybody with a uniform, they didn't want to be associated with our country, frankly. And last year, the Coast Guard beat its recruitment goals by 120%. And we have so many people wanting to get into the Coast Guard and all levels of the military now that weren't even thinking about it. To me, it's one of the most exciting things. When I first came, we had the election on November 5th, and it really started from the day of the election. But we had the election on November 5th. But I will tell you, before that, you couldn't recruit people to go into the military. Nobody wanted to be there. They were trying to reduce standards. Now the standards, I hate to say, are through the roof. But now we have lines of people wanting to get into every group of, whether it's the Navy, the Coast Guard. And I will tell you, I looked at the numbers, the Coast Guard in particular. You have exceeded your numbers. You have a waiting list that's a mile long of people that want to get in. So I think I have to say congratulations on that. You know, it's a really big deal. And by the end of my term, we are adding 15,000 new Coast Guardsmen. And we're going to have them added to the list because of all the new equipment that we've ordered. And it's a true honor to be your commander-in-chief. I mean, I'm looking at you. I'm glad to get to shake hands of a few of your outstanding people. But every one of you are outstanding. You're in a category that's really very unique, very hard to be, very hard to get there. Now you know, even by the recruitment numbers, you know it is. But beyond that, it's just a very special group of people, and you are a very special group of people. As you begin your important new missions and your mission in life, today let me leave you with a few words of advice to maybe help you a little bit on your way. First, most important, never ever give up. Never give up. They ask me, how do you be successful, sir? Starts with never give up. I've learned a lot about life, but the one thing I've really learned is that perseverance, never quitting, never giving up is a big deal. You'll be right there, right at the gate, and you've seen it. You've seen it in sports. You've seen it. They're right there at the gate, and they give up. Never give up. And whatever happens, no matter where you are in life or what situation you find yourself in the seas or anywhere else that you may be, keep pushing forward. Always push forward. Never stop pushing forward. No matter how terrible the storm, no matter how difficult the mission, never surrender. Keep going, keep fighting, and make the adversary quit first. Let them quit. They're going to quit if you keep going. Second, at this pivotal time of transformation for our armed forces, you have to think big. It's much better thinking big. Small solutions yield small results. Only big ideas will yield to tremendous change and greatness. Americans do not want to live in a world ruled by someone else's big ideas. Live in a future and shape your future, and you want to dominate your future, and you want to dominate it for your great military and for your country. Think big. During the course of your Coast Guard careers, it will be time for incredible change, and change is going to happen, change that we can't even think of right now. The things will happen, and I believe for the best, hopefully for the best, but I believe for the best. But things will happen that you can't even imagine, and it's going to be very exciting. But the way that's going to happen is through thinking big. Nothing great was ever built. Think of that. Nothing great was ever built without the word momentum at your side. In times of your life, you'll have momentum. That's the time you go for it. I tell stories about people that lost their momentum and they went and it didn't work out well. You know when you're doing well. You know when you have that positive momentum. So take that momentum and go for it. So many people, they wait the wrong time. You know when it's right. Go with the momentum. The towering men and women of history have always been people of action. You answered the call to serve, and now you need to make sure that most of your time is spent on very important roles in life. You've done a lot, and you've had a lot of relaxation. Frankly, if you enjoy what you're doing, there's no such thing as work. It's not work. What you're doing, I would say with most of you, it's not work. What you've done is a lot of work, but it's not work. It really isn't. It's a great pleasure. I find myself, I work a lot. They say he's a workaholic. I'm not a workaholic. It would be tough if I didn't do things. If I didn't do things, I don't know what I'd be doing. It probably wouldn't be good. But you got to love it. And if you love it, it's never considered work. There will always be time for taking the easy path. And there'll be times when you want to do that or to settle for maybe a short-term fix. But for the best results, it'll always be a product of unbelievably hard work. That's why I always sign something. They say, oh, could you put something on? I say, work hard. To a young person, work hard. Because you have to work hard. It's so competitive. Life is so competitive. You have to work hard. It's never going to come easy. You have to work hard. A lot of great athletes, they say, the harder it work. I remember Gary Player, a great golfer. He was somewhat smaller than other great athletes. And he said, the harder I work, the luckier I get. That was the first time I heard it. I've heard that expression a lot, but the first time was from the great Gary Player, one of the top 3 golfers of all time. And he said, the harder I work, the luckier I get. It's a great expression. Fourth, as you go into life, and right here at the Coast Guard, you want to keep your eyes in the boat. You want to have your eyes in the boat. You know what that expression means better than anybody. Do not be distracted by what's outside. You just want to look back and you want to just see what's happening, but keep your eyes in the boat. A Coast Guard expression. Focus on the task before you and move forward. Always, always move forward. Never move back. Remember what actually matters, and pursuit of success it really has to be relentless. You've got to be relentless. And many of you are relentless. You wouldn't be here if you weren't, because There are 10 people for every seat that I'm looking at, 10 people, and I think even more than that, that wanted that seat, and you made it. So finally, you have to be strong. You have to be really strong, and I don't mean just with muscle strength. I mean with mental strength, and you have to be brave. In your profession, you have a level of bravery that has to supersede a normal person's bravery, but that's why you're here. America was not founded by weak and timid men or women who cowered in the face of evil or sat by as danger loomed. As President Theodore Roosevelt said, freedom is not a gift that lasts long in the hands of cowards and weak people. Today, our country faces the threats that are very strong, but we have a much stronger country today than we had 2 years ago. Today, the threats that look really bad 2 years ago, 3 years ago, we had a country that was rudderless, just like that ship that had its rudder shot off. We have a country now with very strong, powerful rudders. But every one of you has your soul, the strength and courage to face whatever comes before you. You're going to do unbelievably well. I mean, just have no idea. I look at audiences all the time, but I'm looking at this audience. It's just an incredible group of people, a beautiful, beautiful, brilliant group of people. So you're brave and you're bold and you're always ready to go, and you inherit the legacy of some of the most daring and intrepid Americans ever to live. You are inheriting the mantle of some of the bravest people, some of the most incredible warriors ever, right here. A tradition of pride and glory and greatness passed down from one generation to the Coast Guard heroes to the next. You had great heroes. In World War II, the Coast Guard was the first branch of the military to seize a Nazi vessel and take enemy prisoners. The first one to do it was the Coast Guard. The first branch to traverse the Northwest Passage, and the first to sail a ship right up the middle of the frigid seas to the North Pole. You were the first. You were the first to do so much. And that's not going to change. And now you have equipment. I think we can say definitely when all that new equipment comes in, Admiral, you have equipment the likes of which the Coast Guard has never had before. So you'll have many ships sailing up instead of one. You're going to be doing things that nobody even thought possible. You have on order. Some of it's already delivered, but you have on order the best equipment anywhere in the world. There's no other Coast Guard. There's no other, frankly, Navy that has anything like what's coming your way. On September 11th, 2001, amid the rubble, dust, and debris, it was the Coast Guard that organized the largest boat lift in all of history, evacuating 500,000 people from lower Manhattan. That was a terrible day. The gleaming white hulls and the blazing red stripes of your cutters have sliced through the horizon of nearly every major waterway on Earth. Every day, Coast Guard members plunge into pitch-black oceans, rush onto roaring surfs, and do battle with Mother Nature at her absolute worst. Mother Nature like few can imagine it even exists. And I've seen it. I've seen things that I said, nobody's going into that storm, and you guys go into it like it's just another day of work. You fly into gale force winds, smash into 50-foot waves, storm into floods of fire and shrapnel, and swarm through water so cold that it will snap a ship in half with just the wrong hit of a wave. But your fellow Americans, and above all, you're from the Coast Guard. There's nothing, absolutely nothing, that a Coast Guardsman cannot do. There really isn't. I've seen so much. I mean, as president, I've just seen so much. I've seen people that were going to be decimated, that were going to be destroyed in sea. I told you about some of the hurricanes. They were out at sea. They were boating, and they got caught. They wanted to go a little closer, a little closer, a little closer, and then they got gobbled up by nature. And the only way they could have survived was what you people were able to do. You went in there, and you got them. It wasn't easy. It was very dangerous. No matter how perilous the task, you're unafraid, and you're just an unstoppable force, and you want to stay that way. The U.S. Coast Guard has never, ever let us down. And with men and women like the great class of 2026, I know that will never happen. You're going to go on to greatness, the likes of which even the Coast Guard has not seen. So wherever the duty calls, whatever danger comes our way, you will fight, 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 and you will win, win, win. I want to just say a very strong God bless the Coast Guard Academy, the class of 2026. God bless the United States military, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you very much. Have a great, great, and stellar career. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
At this time, I invite the class president, Cadet Savannah Rier, to come to the stage to present the class gift.
Mr. President, on behalf of the class of 2026, I present you with this token of appreciation. I can go put it back down there for you.
I don't know if this is a good trade. This is for Savannah.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Would you like me to put that back down there for you? Okay. Thank you.
I am now pleased to introduce Dr. Amy Donahue, Provost and Chief Academic Officer, who will share remarks and present candidates for degrees.
Please be seated. Mr. President, Mr. Secretary, Commandant, Admiral Rothrock, distinguished guests, good afternoon. And good afternoon to the great class of 2026. Before we make this official, I have 180 seconds for you on behalf of the faculty. Congratulations on reaching this day. It's a remarkable threshold, one you will remember forever as an indelible moment of triumph and promise. Today, you stand at the boundary between cadet and officer, between preparation and service, between keeping your eyes in the boat and being responsible for the performance of others. This boundary matters because today we celebrate. We reflect on your success, all you've achieved since you showed up 4 short years or 1,432 long days ago. But starting tomorrow, the world will depend on you. It will depend on you to keep commerce flowing through the maritime system, to protect our homeland, to respond when disaster strikes, to stand watch in dangerous places. Most Americans will never know your names, but they will live securely because you serve. Over the past 200 weeks, this Academy has demanded much. You have written mountains of papers, taken scores of exams, attended thousands of hours of class, marched hundreds of miles, sailed thousands more, consumed heroic quantities of pizza. Through all of that, you've succeeded academically, militarily, physically, else you wouldn't be here today. Fundamentally, you have changed. Because education is really not about acquiring knowledge, though it does involve a lot of that. It is about developing judgment that lasts long after you forget what we taught you. Doing that takes time. We don't need 200 weeks to teach you how to do push-ups or wear a uniform or even be an officer. And you could have gotten a college degree quicker someplace else. But you could only earn this education here. A degree from the United States Coast Guard Academy is not mere acquisition of knowledge, but the forging of character. Preparation for the manifold challenges ahead, whether on the high seas or in the halls of governance. It is about cultivating the virtues of leadership augmented by capability, tempered by understanding. Because the nation needs something more than technical prowess. It needs leaders able to learn, adapt, exercise sound judgment in complex situations where lives and national interests are at stake. Despite all you've accomplished, I expect you feel some trepidation in this moment. Good, because the work ahead is difficult and dangerous. In a few moments, you'll sing Semper Paratus, as you have hundreds of times in the last 4 years. And you will put particular emphasis on the words, fight to save or fight and die. This is not just a dramatic line in a song. It is a reminder that this nation asks for your courage and sacrifice. It is said you should be ashamed to die until you have won some victory for humanity. This is a fitting charge because this service delivers victories for humanity every single day. We fight to save, and we must not die until we have won. Class of 2026, today you receive the diploma you earned. Tomorrow, you inherit the responsibility that comes with it. I'm about to present you to the superintendent to confer your degree. That sounds pretty procedural, but everyone here knows it is much more than that, because what it means is you are ready. And even if you don't quite feel it, trust us. After watching what you've endured, achieved, and become in 4 years, we are certain the world can depend on you. Thank you for what you and your families have done to earn our trust. Congratulations, class of 2026. We are proud of you. The Coast Guard needs you, and the nation is fortunate to have you. And now it's time to make this official. Will the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science please rise? Admiral Rothrock, as Provost and Chief Academic Officer, I have the honor of presenting to you the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science. They have been examined and approved by the faculty.
By virtue of the authority vested in me, I now confer upon each of you the degree of Bachelor of Science and admit you to all its rights and privileges. Congratulations, 2026. Well done.
Well done. I am now pleased to introduce Captain Aaron Cassifant, the United States Coast Guard Academy's 39th Commandant of Cadets, who will present the candidates for commissioning as ensigns in the United States Coast Guard.
Mr. President, Mr. Secretary, Admiral Lundy, Admiral Rothrock, ladies and gentlemen, members of the class of 2026, good afternoon. Admiral Lundy, as the Commandant of Cadets, I have the honor of presenting to you the candidates for the commission of ensign in the United States Coast Guard. They have met all military requirements and have successfully demonstrated competency as leaders of character in the Academy's 200-week leader development program. At this time, sir, I invite you to administer the oath of office to those being commissioned to the United States Coast Guard. Platform party, please rise.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I take this obligation freely, without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which I'm about to enter. So help me God. Congratulations.
Thank you, Admiral Lundy. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the departure of the President. Tan hut! Those covered, hand salute. Now, President of the United States of America, departing. Ready, two. Please be seated. Now, the United States Coast Guard Band, conducted by Chief Warrant Officer Jeffrey Spenner, will perform the Armed Forces Medley as arranged by Chief Musician Sean Nelson. All past and present members of the military are invited to stand as the band plays their respective anthem. The United States Army. The United States Marine Corps. The United States Navy. United States Air Force. The United States Space Force. United States Coast Guard. Please take your seats. Thank you, Chief Warrant Officer Spenner and the members of the Coast Guard Band. We will now present the graduating class with their diplomas and commissions. As each graduate approaches the platform today, they are being presented with a gift by the Coast Guard Academy Alumni Association. Presenting the class of 2026 Challenge Coin will be Captain Andrea Marcial, U.S. Coast Guard retired, and the class of 2026 Link in the Chain representative, Dr. Sam T. Rudebish, Coast Guard Academy class of 1976. The degrees of Bachelor of Science will be presented by the Superintendent, Rear Admiral Rothrock. Commissions as ensigns in the Coast Guard will be presented by the Secretary of Homeland Security, the Honorable Mark Wayne Mullen. The Commandant of Cadets, Captain Aaron Cassavant, will announce the name, major, and unit to which each new ensign is
Matthew Thomas Condon, Cyber Systems, Coast Guard Cyber Command. Julia Catherine Keneally, Marine and Environmental Sciences, Coast Guard Cutter Alex Haley. Jaden Thomas Coons, Marine and Environmental Sciences with a minor in Emergency Management, Coast Guard Cutter Nathan Bruckenthal. Gabriel Owen Cooper, Government, Coast Guard Cutter Bear. Alianne Matthew De La Vega, Cyber Systems, Philippines. Chase Stephen Denton, Management, Coast Guard Cutter Tampa. Nathan Craig Core, Mechanical Engineering, Marine Safety Unit, Homa. Miguel Scott Cotto, Government, Sector Delaware Bay. Elliot Z. Coles, Marine and Environmental Sciences, Coast Guard Cutter Benjamin Bottoms. Morgan Joseph Coyle, Mechanical Engineering, Coast Guard Cutter Hamilton. Alianne Matthew De La Vega, Cyber Systems, Philippines. Chase Stephen Denton, Management, Coast Guard Cutter Tampa. Brooke Kasahan Desta, Cyber Systems, Base Miami Beach. Carl Sebastian DeGiorgio, Management, Maritime Safety and Security Team, Kings Bay. Leonara Eleni Shoned Ducat, Electrical Engineering, Coast Guard Cutter Polar Star. Benjamin Shaw Dush, Naval Architecture and Marine Engineering, Surface Forces Logistics Center, Alameda. Ethan Kai Easley, Marine and Environmental Sciences with a minor in Emergency Management, Coast Guard Cutter Daniel Tarr. Grace Gilliland Edmondson, Cyber Systems, Coast Guard Cyber Command. Michael Lee Edwards, Operations Research and Data Analytics, Coast Guard Cutter Hamilton. Helena Moani Kea'a Okaha Vapuhi Farias, Management, Coast Guard Cutter Stratton. Luke Michael Farrell, Civil and Environmental Engineering Training Center, Cape May. Nathan Ryan Fitt, Management, Coast Guard Cutter James. Alyssa Almeida Flores, Marine and Environmental Sciences with a minor in Emergency Management, Philippines. Miguel Antonio Flowers, Cyber Systems, Sector Southeast Alaska. Madeline Rose Fontana, Electrical Engineering, Coast Guard Cutter Calhoun. Mia Elizabeth Forty, Government, Coast Guard Cutter Robert Yared. Daniel Eric Fredericks II, Government, Coast Guard Cyber Command. Grant Aki Freeman, Naval Architecture and Marine Engineering, Surface Forces Logistics Center, Alameda. Charles Aaron Gaines, Management, Coast Guard Cutter, Tampa. Zachary Cole Gamble, Naval Architecture and Marine Engineering, Basic Flight. Aiden Antonio Garcia, Marine and Environmental Sciences, Coast Guard Cutter, Weishi. Molly Ruth Garrett, Civil and Environmental Engineering, Coast Guard Cutter, Hickory. Daniel Patrick Reagan Gibson, Cyber Systems, Coast Guard Cyber Command. Verlin Alexia Gibson, Cyber Systems, Guyana. Bowen Mitchell Giesbrecht, Management, Coast Guard Cutter, Kimball. Cale James Gottschalk, Operations Research and Data Analytics, Coast Guard Cutter, Hamilton. Joshua Devin Golden, Electrical Engineering, Coast Guard Cutter, Harriet Lane. Seiji Magalahi Suzuki Gonzalez, Management, Coast Guard Cutter, Kimball. Margaret Ika Gorman, Cyber Systems, Coast Guard Cutter, Forward. Evan Patrick Granahan, Management, Coast Guard Cutter, Forward. Isabel Iris Grimm, Civil and Environmental Engineering, Coast Guard Cutter, Harriet Lane. Jason Matthew Guglietta, Electrical Engineering, Coast Guard Cutter, Joseph Gerzak. Razy Hannah Guillory, Management, Basic Flight. Amalia Danielle Haggerty, Naval Architecture and Marine Engineering, Coast Guard Cutter, Maple. Jacob Wayne Hardy, Operations Research and Data Analytics, Coast Guard Cutter, Northland. Leah Claire Harris, Operations Research and Data Analytics, Coast Guard Cutter, Myrtle Hazard. Nathan Patrick Harris, Electrical Engineering, Coast Guard Cutter, William Chadwick. Pauline Rose Hartman, Government, Coast Guard Cutter, Earl Cunningham. Catherine Jane Hegner, Operations Research and Data Analytics, Coast Guard Cutter, Mackinac. Lauren Rose Henry, Government, Coast Guard Cutter, Roland Fritsch. Mackenzie Suzanne Hilden, Marine and Environmental Sciences, Coast Guard Cutter, Willow. Paul Thomas Hobbs, Government, Sector Columbia River. Charles Michael Holbrooks, Management, Coast Guard Cutter, Active. Hudson Dana Holden, Electrical Engineering, Coast Guard Cutter, Weishi. Claire Helen Holman, Government, Coast Guard Cutter, Alder. Maddox Hudson Holmes Selby, Marine and Environmental Sciences, Coast Guard Cutter, Storis. Mary Catherine Wynn, Marine and Environmental Sciences, Sector St. Petersburg. Adrian Justin Ilalau, Marine and Environmental Sciences, Palau. Tara Elizabeth Jessen, Civil and Environmental Engineering, Coast Guard Cutter, Calhoun. Giselle Melinda Johnson, Cyber Systems, Basic Flight. James Ed Johnson, Civil and Environmental Engineering, Coast Guard Cutter, Jacob Poru. Nathaniel Owen Johnson, Operations Research and Data Analytics, Coast Guard Cutter Monroe. Philip Joseph Jones, Government, Coast Guard Cutter Stone. Isabella Marie Judge, Civil and Environmental Engineering, Coast Guard Cutter Thetis. James Young-Ho Kang, Cyber Systems, Coast Guard Cyber Command. Andrew James Cahias, Mechanical Engineering, Coast Guard Cutter Storis. Laura Helene Keister, Naval Architecture and Marine Engineering, Coast Guard Cutter Calhoun. Ashlyn Olivia Kelleher, Government, Coast Guard Cutter Robert Yared. Aiden